Born in Argentina, Fabiana Udenio grew up in Italy and at the age of 14 was crowned Miss Teen Italy. She began her professional acting career that same year. She has worked as an actress for more than 20 years, often playing the foreign beauty, whether it be Italian, Brazilian, or Ukrainian. She has worked extensively in film and television, with starring roles in such movies as Summer School and Austin Powers' International Man of Mystery. Fabiana also had recurring roles in series such as Mad About You, Babylon 5, and The Magnificent Seven. She starred alongside C. Thomas Howell and Carol Alt in a syndicated series, Amazon, and guest starred in dozens of television shows including Cheers, NYPD Blue, and Baywatch. But us Leapers know her best as Eva Panzini from the Quantum Leap episode Leaping In Without a Net. Thank you, Fabiana, so much for joining me today on the Quantum Leap podcast. How are you doing?
I am great. What memories you bring back?
I know it was almost 25 years ago, but can you tell me about your experience filming Quantum Leap?
Goodness, is it that long? It was a great part to get. I still remember the audition, the callbacks, and so I remember it very well. And I remember training. It's an exciting part. It was a good show and definitely a very amazing cast, and I remember everything about it. So, yes, pretty much everything.
When you first got the part, were you worried that you would have to do a lot of the acrobatic stuff, the trapeze work?
When I got the part, the final callback, they asked, "Are you afraid of heights?" And I said no. But when you're young, you don't really know what you're going to be expected to do. And I'm sure, as everybody knows, Scott did everything so much that all the other actors were expected to do just as much, or to try to do just as much. So I wasn't worried until I think a week before we started shooting. There was the first training with this trainer for that also Bob Yerkes is his name. He trains also for Circus of the Stars. And we went to the Valley in Los Angeles, and he has a trapeze outside, and they put cables on me, and I had to go all the way up until I actually saw how high you're up when you're, and that's when I went, oh my goodness. So it was challenging to train. Of course, I only had to do the takeoff and the landing, and the acrobatics were done by someone else. But still, taking off from that height, and every time you have to let go and sort of let go into the net, of course, but you let go into on your back, and you don't see where you fall. So it's quite an experience. So yes, I wasn't worried before I started, but as I started training, I got more and more a little bit scared of what was expected to do and the height and the experience. So it was good. It was a thrill for sure.
It seems quite scary to land in that net like you did.
It's a little bit because when you're not experienced, you're swinging, and then you have to listen for somebody to say, you have to let go at the right time. So you have to trust that you're going to fall on your back without falling backwards. So you have to kind of trust the person, trust yourself, just let go. And so you have to let go. Otherwise, it's no fun. So that's the hard part. Yes. Just taking off from that height, you just have to hold on to the bar really tight. I remember I'm kind of lean, and my arms aren't just that strong to begin with. So when I was that young, the next day I was really sore, could not move for a few days. So it was tough on my body. And the more sore you get, the more worried you are that you're not going to be able to do something right. But it all worked out. So.
What was your take on the character of Eva Panzini? How did you approach that role?
Well, from the heart, like I approach all my parts, but I liked her passion and drive, and there was a lot of heart in that part. I loved it. From the passionate female point of view, I guess.
What was it like on the set there?
I think, the best influence comes from Scott. He's such a giving actor that everybody followed suit and made you feel comfortable. I was really young and it was thrilling. I remember my sister coming visiting from Italy and visiting me at the studios. I think it was it Universal?
Yes.
Yes, and I didn't live far from there, but it was exciting and just a wonderful part, and the detail in everything that they did on that show that made you really get into the mood of what you were doing. And it's almost like shooting a movie. The film quality, the detail that they have in the writing and the rehearsing and the attention to detail and attention to performances and professionalism, really good cast. So it was a very, very good experience. And yes, other than I do remember maybe complaining a little bit too much about the stunts, or that I was too sore, being a little worried about too much of a girl. I wasn't tough enough, I guess, to. It was hard on my body, but other than that, it was great. It's really great.
I remember you from Babylon 5. What was that experience like for you?
That was a nice part as well. Very romantic. I approached it from a very romantic point of view, and I liked the dancing, and I was the first Centauri woman, so they had to come up with a look. And it was interesting, actually. I remember for me as an actor being very interesting to be bald, because you feel very expressive, and I've always had long hair. So to feel, you feel more powerful in your expression and stylized almost. So I liked that. I liked having that look, and the amount of time that it took to put the bald cap and all of that.
Was that difficult?
It just took a long time, but it gave, it transports you into sort of another world. So it's kind of interesting. I don't think I've ever taken that long to put any kind of makeup on. So you spend a couple of hours in the makeup, and you're thinking, and you almost become somebody else. And yeah, I liked the feeling of the boldness. I like that. Yes, I really did. And it was, to me, I approached it as a romantic saga or romantic role.
It was very much. I think the character of Londo was really in love with your character. Yes,
and sort of like a Pygmalion or this hero for her, and so for me, that's the way I approach it. That there's some part of her that obviously loved him too, and sort of a heartbreak. And I'm a sucker for the
yeah.
pulling at the heart. I'm Italian, so anything with some sort of heartstrings rings a bell.
What was it like working with Peter Jurasik?
Another pro, right? Yes, another pro. Yes, very, very fun professional. We spent a long time on the bed. That one day, I remember. And very comfortable, really.
The other part I remember you in wearing a lot of makeup was in your part, which was quite funny, in RoboCop.
Oh, you're right.
The Sunblock 5000?
Yeah, that's true. The thing that I remember about that part, that my English was good, but there was a line that said, just put a pint. And do you say pint or pint? I always get confused, but in the audition I said it wrong. So in the audition I said, just apply a pint on your body and you're good for hours. And then I was saying it to a friend, and how did you do that line? Oh, and I went, just apply a pint on your, did you say pint? I said, yes, I said pint. But it's a pint. And then I ended up getting the part. So to me, that's not all the mistakes. Sometimes maybe my audition was more memorable because I was so convinced of doing it right and pronouncing all the words properly, but I was actually saying it wrong. So that's what I remember about that. And it was funny. Yeah, that it's the humor in it kind of spends the time, which is cute. Yeah.
So English is your second language?
Yes, I was actually born in Argentina, so Spanish was my chronological first language, but I grew up in Italy, so Italian is my most comfortable language, and then the Spanish, and then Spanish and English are the same.
Has that been difficult, having English as a third language, approaching different roles, or do you think your accent, because you have a lovely voice and lovely accent, do you think that helps you get roles sometimes?
It is what it is. I could get rid of it sometimes working, but people have a tendency, obviously, to go for what your main quality is, the real quality. So it's sort of undetectable, exotic, whatever. So it helps you at the beginning maybe, and it stops you from maybe being able to get some parts because that's not what people think of me of. Even if I got rid of the accent completely for one specific part, it would be a stretch for someone to think. So it helps you, and it doesn't, like anything. Like, you can't change your ethnicity as easy as a hair color, but and I think the fact it helps that it is sort of non-denominational. You can't quite pinpoint it, and that helps. And then speaking lots of languages, that helps because I can make it whatever I want. It could be a Latin accent, or it could be Eastern European, like it was for Quantum Leap, or Italian or Spanish or French. And so that could sort of expand the range. It's kind of a bit harder to be cast as a Texan or somebody from, New Yorker. Of course, that's not my forte, obviously.
Have you ever thought about doing voice work? Have you done voice work?
I have. I've done a little bit of everything. I just actually finished dubbing yesterday a movie that's coming out. It's called The Spy. I have done a lot of simultaneous translation for the red carpets for the Academy Awards, the Emmys, the Grammys. We were doing all the translation for E-Entertainment for Italian television, the Italian feed of the E-Entertainment events.
Wow.
And I was doing that live. So that was kind of fun. It kept my mind. And I do dub a lot of American movies into Italian, because in Italy they often put an Italian voice for the English-speaking actor. Mm-hmm. People are used to not seeing movies now without subtitles, but with a voiceover actor. And so I've done that a lot. I do that here. And the fun thing, I have gotten close to some cartoons, Americans or animated, and that it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to do voiceover. Anything that has to do with a microphone. We don't have to put makeup. You don't have to worry about the way you look. You just focus, and it's fun. It's a lot of fun to do that. It takes a special skill, but it's very liberating because you just, I like pretty much every side of my profession, including maybe hosting. I've done a little bit of everything, and I like it. Theater, yes.
Awesome.
So that's more fun, maybe more, it gives you more longevity if you can do different things. Yeah.
Probably one of your more iconic roles that everyone thinks of and associates with you is your part in Austin Powers.
Yes.
What was that experience like in the hot tub, and how long was that shoot, and what was that like?
Again, another memorable audition, because when you get the call for something like that, you go, excuse me, what was that again? What was that part? What are you guys sending me out for? No, is it legit? And then it was pretty easy getting the part, meaning I just went on tape, and then it wasn't a lot of callbacks. And the fun thing about the project that I was involved in the first Austin Powers, so you really read a script, and it's hard to imagine the comedy because it's so cerebral, and until you see it come to life from Mike Myers, it was really hard to get an idea of how it was going to come out. And that was the fun part, to see it evolved, and the ad-libs, and to see things getting more and more precise, specific with the look of the movie, the wardrobe, the direction they were going, again, where all the details came into place. And there was a very strong vision from the beginning, which is hard to just see from the page. So you really go and you go, oh, whatever, you really, let's give it a shot. And then you go, and it's hilarious when you go on the set, and it's so different. And the shoot was great. You just have to keep up with Mike Myers. That was my job, just to be on my toes and react to anything he's throwing at you. And it's fun because it changes for every take. You never know what he's going to come up with. You never know. So it's hard to keep a straight face. They did my side at the end. And they did all his stuff first. So my job was really try not to not to crack up, so to keep it going straight. So, and yes, it was a long shoot on that hot tub. And his hair was all over towards the end, so you get out, and it was like I have hair on my hairy legs that I didn't want to have. So, but fun, and mostly see the comedic genius come to life in somebody like Mike Myers, who's actually a very shy, polite person off camera, and then turns into this other thing when he's on. So it's amazing, really. And I know that a lot of comedians are like that, but maybe shy in real life. And it's certainly true with Mr. Myers. Yes.
While you were filming it, did you realize how big of a hit it was going to be, or when did you realize how big it was?
The thing with us sometimes kept growing. Even when it came out, yes, it was a hit, but it kept growing and growing, lasting and growing. So, and then they did another one, and then the first one was even more and more, sort of getting to a cult-like following. And so it was a slow process of realization of how everybody was very excited. It did really well, but it kept growing. It had legs, and so it's hard to believe now that it's just that it's become what it is. Sort of, yeah.
You were just cast in the hit show on the CW, Jane the Virgin. Can you tell me about that? That's very exciting. Very
exciting, especially because yes, I kept working, but I have an 8-year-old, so I focused a lot on being a mom, which is an amazing experience, and you want to prioritize, so you want to just go and take parts that are worth it, that can bring something to you, to your experience. And so this is a great show. It has so many facets to the performances. There's the comedic, the drama, the over the top. And the part is great. I can't say too much because it's sort of, but I'm going to be playing someone's mother, very important, and with a lot of intricacies and controversies, and sort of a very, very interesting role that I'm trying to get some redeeming qualities, and we're going to find them. So far, ouch. So it's going to be a recurring, and very, very exciting. So I just finished shooting it. The first episode is going to air during April, for right around Easter.
Oh, very good. For our listeners, that airs Mondays at 9 p.m., 8 Central on the CW, so make sure you set your TiVos and watch it.
Thank you.
You were in so many things that have become huge parts of pop culture. Like we mentioned earlier, Babylon 5 and, of course, Quantum Leap. But you were also in things like Baywatch and Bride of the Reanimator. What parts stick out?
Well, the way you were photographed on a show like Baywatch, you always look the best. So that was cute and it was also because it was a very popular show in Italy. So you may do things that are more prestigious to me, like NYPD Blue or something like Mad About You, is more prestigious. But in Italy, I'm hot because I kissed David Hasselhoff. So,
what was that like, working with a Hoff?
He's a gentleman, yeah, fun and fun, and also he's got a lot of European experience, so we exchanged experiences and a fun set, light and fun set. And then my first love was Summer School, which the first movie that I ever did in this country, directed by Carl Reiner, and that was a very good introduction to Hollywood. I had worked in Italy already quite a bit on stage, but to start with somebody like Carl Reiner and in a wonderful cast, again, a very, very wonderful gentleman leading actor that sort of sets the mood of the set. That was Mark Harmon. And that movie also, Summer School, had legs. A lot of people still remember it, grew up with it, and it has a lot of heart, and it stands the test of time. I just saw actually a play in Los Angeles that was a spoof, a parody on the movie Summer School.
Oh,
and
wow.
did a great job. Yeah, so we went to see it with Jeff Franklin, who was the writer of the movie, and a couple of cast members. And we went to see it because I heard good things, and the cast was so happy to see the members of the original and we've all aged quite a bit from from a long time ago. So that sticks in mind. And of course, then there are things that I've done that maybe they're less popular, and some things that I've done in Italy, or stage work, the Tempest I did, and that as an actor, it's close to my heart, but they may be less popular.
Hard Bodies 2, was that filmed in Italy?
That was filmed in Greece.
Greece, oh, okay.
That was a long time ago. That was filmed in Greece before I moved to the United States.
Wow.
And I was really young. Yeah, I was filming Greece. I already spoke English. And after that, I got cast to do a soap opera in New York. It was One Life to Live. And that's my first experience in this country, was for a year on that soap. And after that, I came to the West Coast, and that's when I got summer school. So that's why that movie is important to me, sort of, because I then was able to stay in this wonderful country and continue to work. Yes.
Were you ever bothered by a lot of the parts you played? You were in a bikini, and like, you ever think you were typecast as just the beautiful woman, or is that a bad thing or a good thing? I don't know.
I don't think about it that way. Part of my European background is perhaps less taboo about the body or the bikini and I mean, no, I think it's important to keep your body in shape, and to, as an actor, to have everything that you can use. And I actually think comedy is harder to do than sometimes in drama, and to be able to do comedy for a woman and be attractive and funny is kind of a challenge. And so I'm proud of been able to achieve that, to be able to be funny and as being the attractive part of an ensemble. That to me is important. And no, I mean, as an actor, I love what I do, and anything that distinguishes me, I'll take it. You know, it's great. And then hopefully, luckily, I've had a chance to show my range. I'm not 30 anymore, or 25, so obviously you're not going to see me in a bikini too often, at least not in a movie. So, you know, and I'm still working, so I'm proud of it. And when I get older, and when my son grows up, he'll hopefully be proud of me too.
Are some of your roles harder than others? I know, like in Baywatch and a few movies, you might have played like the victim. Is that hard to get into a character that's being victimized, or is that any different than any other role?
Well, the new one is not so much of a victim. And I mean, one never wants to be the victim, so I think the challenge is to give strength and the spine to somebody that is being taken advantage of. So that's, I guess, the dignity to keep that, and that's the challenge, to be believable and have an inner strength that hopefully translates. Whether you're the victim or the aggressor, I think believability is the number one duty as an actor, I think.
You said you remembered a lot about your episode of Quantum Leap. If there's any stories or just anything you can share about your experience, I'm sure listeners would love to hear it.
One of the things that I remember, talking about training for the part, one of the first times that I was training with Bob Yerkes, The Secrets of the Stars, I remember Deborah Pratt, who was an actress and a dancer, but also she's the wife of the executive producer, voluntarily getting up on the trapeze even higher than I was. And I don't even know if she was strapped or she did it without the safety straps at the beginning. And I was so scared. I was barely going up the stairs all the way up, because it gets to be very, very high. And I'm not afraid of heights, but the higher you get, the more vulnerable you feel. And she was a daredevil. She was going up and doing it. I go, oh my goodness, I better live up to what I'm expected to live up to. So that was I better not get scared. I better not chicken out. They're going to fire me. We hadn't even started shooting. So I managed to hide my fears and go for it, yes. But she definitely set the standard, set the bar high for me to be brave.
Awesome. It's kind of one of those things where they don't want to ask you to do what they won't do.
Well, they asked, are you afraid of heights? And when you're young, you said no, but until you're there, you don't know. Because I don't think at that age I'd ever been climbing a stair that high. So So no, I'm not afraid of heights, but you feel it when it's this little ladder that you keep going up and up and up. I felt it. Yes, she did it. She's a daredevil. Very, 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 an athlete probably. Yes.
Well, thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you, and I really appreciate you spending some time with us.
My pleasure. Thank you for bringing back all the memories.